Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today in the news, we are talking about Russia invading Ukraine. Here's Russia, here's Ukraine. This may lead to Russian sanctions, and I specifically want to look at, will Russian sanctions be good for crypto? Now you may be wondering, how in the world can Russian sanctions be good for crypto? We're going to be talking about that today on this video. And I apologize. I want to apologize to you right away. I'm making this on the road. I'm actually taking care of my mother who recently got diagnosed with COVID, and I had to grab some internet so I could get this. She lives in a very rural area, so I had to get to the internet so that I can make this video for you because this is pressing, and I want my viewers to be aware of what's going on. First things first, you may wonder, how in the world can Russian sanctions be good for crypto? And specifically, what sanctions need to happen, and what do we need to be looking at as crypto investors? And specifically, what would I be doing? What area of crypto am I looking to invest in? I'll be covering all of that in this video. So right now, we just recently saw, as of today, I guess, or the past 24 hours, Russia has invaded crypto. Invaded Ukraine. Came from this way, came from this way, from Belarus, and came over here as well. 100, almost 200,000 troops involved in this. This is a massive incursion. And the thing that's so important about this happening is that just 24 hours ago, all the major public military analysts were saying that this would not happen. Now, I think this is important to pay attention to, and it just shows you how wrong the analysts can oftentimes be. The military analysts said that we weren't going to see this kind of incursion. They said we would see a couple of outlying regions, basically, that would be, a couple of provinces that might be taken over, similar to what happened with Crimea a couple of years ago. And that maybe over time Russia may try to be aggressive and push into the rest of Ukraine. But they did not necessarily expect that we would see a full-on land, sea, and air assault. It looks like we're seeing now they have effectively bombed, you know, basically every strategic point throughout the country in the past 24 hours. Russia has the country of Ukraine, and it looks like they're headed to Kyiv to literally take over there as well, meaning install their own government. So, just in the past few hours, President Biden's come out and announced sanctions on Russia. Now, how could this potentially be positive for crypto? Now, let me say that I'm only saying this as an observer in this space. I do not specifically, advocate for this happening. I don't give two craps about Russia. I don't think it's a great country. I don't think we're better off because they exist. But the moves that they may end up taking because of cryptocurrency, the same thing that allows you and I to use cryptocurrency, the same thing that allows Canadian citizens to use cryptocurrency when their government is freezing some of their bank accounts because they don't agree with how they're protesting. The same characteristics of cryptocurrency allow rogue nations to exist outside of international sanctions. A great example of this would be Iran. The Central Bank of Iran to aid traders making sanctions. So this was a news story from 2022. The reality is this first started coming up in the news about 18 months before, but Iran essentially is using cryptocurrency payments to sidestep their own sanctions. In other words, they know that they can, buy oil or whatever using cryptocurrency. And I think this is very interesting when you start to see governments like El Salvador use cryptocurrency, when you see companies like Tesla and MicroStrategy start using cryptocurrency because they want to hold it as some sort of store of value, and then you see countries using cryptocurrency potentially for transactional purposes. I mean, there's three main ways we will see cryptocurrency go mainstream, I believe. It's going to be developed countries using it as some sort of national reserve. I think that's least likely to happen. It's going to be individuals start using cryptocurrency en masse. I also think that's less likely to happen. The third way is that central banks of countries start using cryptocurrency, and eventually more developed nations decide they don't want to get left behind in the event that this technology really catches on. And so they may also start using cryptocurrency as well. So we're seeing this start to play out right now in real time. What an incredible part of technology, current events, financial history that we're a part of is pretty incredible if you think about it. But right now, Central Iran is already using cryptocurrency. Arguably, there's reports of North Korea using cryptocurrency as well. And the reason they use cryptocurrency is because they don't have access to SWIFT payments. Now, SWIFT is essentially an electronic payment system, an international payment system that, if you're familiar with the XRP and Ripple, it's really what they're looking to basically impact. So right here, there's a big push with Russia to get kicked out of the SWIFT payment system. The SWIFT payment system is essentially the way they wire transactions back and forth to one another. They send money in large chunks from one country to the other. Arguably, the SWIFT system is antiquated anyway, but that's another debate for another day. Here's what's interesting: they want Russia kicked out. They're one of the biggest ways they fund their government is through selling oil throughout most of the European Union and some to the U.S. We get about 15 to 20 million barrels a month. Think about that. Even America buys Russian oil. We don't tap into American resources because environmentalists don't want us to tap into our resources. So therefore, we have to buy oil. So we end up buying oil from Russia. So even America gets oil from Russia. And so does a lot of the European countries. So these European countries, even though they say, hey, we don't support Russia, hey, we don't want Russia going into Ukraine, specifically countries like Germany. Let me show you something for a moment. Germany's right here, Russia's right here, Ukraine's right here. Germany gets most of their oil from Russia. There's a Russian pipeline that comes from right up here and goes down like this through the sea here. There's a Russian pipeline that comes this way into Germany. And there's a Russian pipeline that goes right through Ukraine, right into Germany. And this is a major pipeline, by the way. So Germany, which is one of the stronger EU countries, does not want Russia to be cut off from the SWIFT payment system. If that happens to Germany, then Germany's oil prices are going to go through the roof, and it could truly cripple their economy. Which politically, that's not good if you're the president or whatever of Germany. You don't want to be the cause that your citizens end up paying triple the prices of gasoline, for example. So it's really not a popular, it's not a popular sanction that they want to see put into place, but it is something that would cripple Russia almost immediately. Would almost immediately cripple Russia. Now we may still end up seeing sanctions. We did not today. In fact, the sanctions today that were announced by President Biden are actually quite astonishingly weak, to be very honest with you. Astonishingly weak. But I think that we're not done with this. We may see, you want to look for specifically sanctions that affect the SWIFT payment system. If that happens, we will see Russia start at that point in time looking to, just like Iran, use cryptocurrency payments. And what's going to be interesting when that happens, and this is going to be very destabilizing to the entire European Union. I'm willing to bet you money we will see countries, and we may not be aware of it initially, but we will see countries start secretly paying for oil with cryptocurrency. That's what's going to start happening. And the reason that it's going to happen is because they need to support their countries. So they will break ranks with the rest of the European Union, with the Allied forces, including the Americans, and they will potentially, this is what you want to watch for. And you can find this in news. Follow this channel. I'll be talking about it on this channel. We may see them start buying oil from Russia. If SWIFT sanctions go into place, if that happens, we may see these countries, we may see Russia start dealing in cryptocurrencies. We may see some of these European Union countries like Germany secretly buying oil through cryptocurrency from places like Russia. Now that's going to, in order for that to happen, we're going to have to see the SWIFT payment sanctions go into place, and that we don't know if that's going to happen yet. I think it's going to happen eventually. I think. So that's what we want to look out for. But if that happens, it's going to be very interesting. Now, this is good for cryptocurrency, but all of this is bad in the short term. Crypto markets are in a bloodbath right now. The mainstream Wall Street markets are in a bloodbath right now. Gas prices are going to be going up. Inflation, as I've been talking about on this channel, when the mainstream economists are saying, oh, inflation wasn't going to be that bad, on this channel I was saying inflation is going to be bad. And guess what? It's going to get a lot worse. Prices are going to be going up. Wages are going to be interesting. We're headed, most people are headed towards some difficult times. So for me personally, what I'm looking at in crypto is, first of all, I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm literally buying crypto now. Why? Because our dollars buy more crypto now than they did a few months back. So I'm literally buying crypto now. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm looking specifically at passive income crypto projects, which is what this channel is really known for. I'm a huge fan of cryptocurrency and a huge fan of passive income in cryptocurrency. Now, here's what's interesting. A lot of the passive income opportunities that I talk about, I specifically talk about in my Crypto Passive Profits newsletter. You can check the newsletter out down in the description. Subscribe to it. It's totally free. But a lot of the projects that I talk about that I invest in, a lot of them are down as well. But it's okay. I would rather see an income stream dip because those income streams still pay you in cryptocurrency. I would rather see an income stream dip because the value of the underlying currencies are going down. At least I'm still getting something, and at least I can still, if I want to, cash out and sell for dollars or USDT. Because if you're holding Bitcoin right now, you're just holding it. It's going down further and further and further, and you're just holding it. You're not getting anything in return. So I always like to have a portion of my investing in passive income crypto projects. Here's the other thing to keep in mind as well: is you want to diversify in the passive income space. You want to look for projects that have. You don't necessarily want to look for a project that has the biggest roadmap or looks like it's going to make the biggest impact. You want to look for projects that can move against the market. So you're talking about higher risk projects in some cases that have strong communities behind them, that are early in their launch phase, early in their development, and you want to be a part of those projects. And if they're paying a passive income, that's what you want. If it's a lucrative income, that's what you want. There's 2 or 3 projects I'm in right now that are actually going up as the rest of the market is pulling back. I will talk about them a little bit later on this channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. But 3 things you want to be paying attention to right now in crypto, and when it comes to what's going on with Russia and Ukraine right now. How far did the sanctions go? Are they going to put in the SWIFT sanctions on Russia? I think that's about a 70% likelihood of that happening. That's going to happen before they start committing troops internationally to die in Ukraine. I can't imagine, but I hope we don't start sending the world's young men and women into battle when there's sanctions that we could put in place. So I'm hoping we don't see that. And before they start committing troops to a conflict, and I don't know if they will commit troops if Russia stays in with Ukraine. But I think this is part of a bigger plan, and we may see Russia going outside of Ukraine. And if that happens, we will, in all likelihood, see them get kicked out of the SWIFT payment system. At that point, they will most likely turn to cryptocurrency just like Iran did. And at that point, they're going to start selling oil to somebody. They may sell it to China, they may sell it to North Korea, they may sell it to whoever, but they're going to be using cryptocurrency payments. And Germany may start, or some of the other countries could start buying oil in cryptocurrency. That is going to be huge when you start talking about advancing the crypto technology forward. That's going to be incredible to actually see that take place. And I think that there's a strong likelihood we could see that take place. So being aware of that, this is not financial advice. I'm in this space. I'm going to take advantage of cryptocurrency. I believe cryptocurrency is in the future. I've said from the very beginning that we are on the bleeding edge of technology. We're on the bleeding edge of finance, ladies and gentlemen. We were here first. Some of you have been watching my videos, subscribed to this channel since 2018, 2019 when I started this channel. And look how far this technology has come now. It's unbelievable. Now my heart goes out to the Ukrainian people. My heart goes out to any country that's getting repressed by their governments. But ladies and gentlemen, cryptocurrency is the way of the future. And when we as individuals embrace this technology, we will have greater autonomy and greater freedom within our own personal lives and our own personal finance than we've probably ever had before. If you agree with me, do me a favor and smash that like button. Click the subscribe button, click that bell notification icon. Thank you so much for being here, and I apologize for making this video on the road. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Do you think these SWIFT sanctions are going to take place? Do you think Russia will start using cryptocurrency potentially to sidestep sanctions similar to the way that Iran has? What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Let's continue to pray for Ukraine and the Ukrainian citizens. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.